Today I'm working on the V12 build again. I'm going to start today by doing some of the small tasks and then I'm going to work my way up to some of the bigger welding, grinding, fabricating work that I need to do later on in the episode. First, I want to get some of these top bolts replaced. I've currently got temporary ones in there. I want to get them sorted. This bar is being used to brace the chassis down there and up here. So I need to replace these bolts with these nice new stainless ones. That's the temporary bolts removed. Now I can replace them with these hex head cap bolts, which are stainless. So they're going to be a lot better, much more appropriate length, and they're going to look quite nice in the engine bay. That's them bolts fitted, looking a lot neater. I'm going to be lock wiring them bolts at a later time. It's still going to come apart a few more times yet, but I'm going to put a lock wire on them once all this is fully finished and painted, just like a helicopter would have, to stop the bolts from undoing from vibration, and it also looks quite nice. Now I can get on with designing the fuel tanks. I'm going to make them out of cardboard, just so I can visually see how much space they're going to fill in the engine bay. You can see I've got some of these other parts just set up temporarily in the engine bay. These are from the original Mercedes that own the car. I did a members video on placing these parts and why exactly I've put these parts in this order. But the main reason that I'm using these is because they're still good parts and they're going to get the job done and get me on the road a little bit faster. At a later time, I can always replace stuff. I'm building this whole thing, so everything on bolts all over the car, so I can easily upgrade and replace things. So let's get making them fuel tanks. To make the fuel tank, I'm going to start with this box. It's roughly the same size as what I've got on my drawing. It's slightly narrower and not quite as tall, but it's going to show me if it's going to work. So I'm first going to try this in the engine bay, make sure this fits, and then once I know this fits, I can add the extra tank on the side, and then I should have a pretty good representation of what one of the fuel tanks is going to be in this car. So I'm going for 50 litres in each tank, just to make sure it matches the same as the original Mercedes, which had 100 litres capacity. That'll allow me to take it on longer road trips and do more with it. Most of the time it'll probably only be half full. I won't fill the tanks all the way up unless I'm actually on a long journey, but it's just good to have that extra capacity. Let's see if it fits. That's the first fuel tank in position. It's fitting quite well. Now I can add the extra tank on that side. Next, I'm going to use this part of this box to make this extra tank. Then that'll be pretty close to the final size. If you're enjoying this, give me a quick thumbs up. It takes a lot of work making these videos. I've also now got memberships. There's over 10 bonus videos on there, ready to watch, and plenty more coming. Lots of the behind the scenes stuff and all my projects that I'm working on, bringing to the channel. That's the extra tank that can now be attached to here. That's the fuel tank in its correct shape. This adds another 7 litres, making it up to the 50 litres. It would be slightly taller, so I've left this bottom tank overhanging, but that's going to be good enough to see what I need to do. This is about the right height now, this end tank is. So now I can use this to plan exactly where the fuel pipes are going to go and where the pump's going to go. There's just another step that's going to get me that little bit further on the build. So let's see if this fits. So this is the final shape of the tank. It fits in from this side. And then this extra bit should tuck under the bar. Just like that. So that's looking really good. I've still got space here to add the straps that are going to hold this thing down. I want it to be quick release, so I'm going to probably put some big handles on top or on the side. So if it ever breaks down the side of the road, I can lift this out with the help of someone else if it's really heavy. If it's full, it's going to be quite a heavy tank. So that's the tank in its position. I've got space here. I've still got space here for this bar as well. That's not touching, and it will be more kind of here, so still a good amount of space there. I'm going to add rubber around it all, and then it's going to actually bolt onto this bar. That's how I'm going to attach it. I'm going to have some kind of drop-in points down here, or like some kind of cage that it sits in. That's all foam lined, so the tank will drop into that. On the top, I'm just going to have either a single bolt or some kind of quick release mechanism where I can undo the tank. Obviously, it'll have a lot of strapping on the tank to make it really stiff so it won't rip. And then I'm going to use foam against this bar, and that's going to really support it as well as up against the firewall. So this is how it looks from the other angle. I've still got quite a lot of room to the engine there. I can easily get my hand in this way or that way. So there's actually a good probably 2.5 inches there, or 60 millimeters. So it's perfectly acceptable. It's also out the way of the exhaust, which are further back. That's why I've done this piece at the front, to give me plenty of clearance and plenty of distance for the exhaust. I think that's going to work. That's looking really good. It actually fits better than I thought. I've got loads of space for the engine, loads of space around this side. The outside of the car is going to be over here, so it's got plenty of room for any kind of like collision on the side and on the rear, so it's got loads of space around it. That's going to be a really good spot to have the tank. Now I can move on to some of the other fabricating work. First, I'm going to work in this rear area. I've got another bracket that I need to make at the bottom of the support. Some of you notice I've only got one plate on that side. I need to put another plate on this side to actually make it nice and strong. It already feels really strong and really stiff, but it needs to be the same as this, where I've got a plate on each side. So I've still got the templates, because I keep all my templates for all these parts. The tricky thing with this is that on this one it's not the same on both sides, because this bar is angled. It's actually changed dimension, so I need to make a new template using this as a starting point, and then I can make the new steel part and get it drilled and welded on. I know that this side needs to be 20 millimeters longer, so I've added that on already. I'm going to cut this out slightly bigger, and then I can sneak up on the dimension that I want. Now I'm going to try this in the engine bay and see what needs doing. That's the first test fit. You can see that was slightly off still, which is what I expected, because I've still got more to come off. but now I can slowly cut this to get these bolts exactly lining up. That's the final shape. Now I can cut that out of steel. That's both sides made. Now I can drill the holes in these plates. That's both parts drilled and ready for painting in well-free primer. Now I can weld these parts onto the chassis. That's the plates done, looking a lot better and adding lots of strength to the back of the car. I hope you enjoyed this one. I've changed the format of this video. I've done it a bit shorter. I was planning to do a bit more on this episode, but I've chopped it to get it out faster. So let me know, would you like to see more of this format a little bit more frequently? Or do you want the longer videos which just take more time to make? Thank you for your support. It means a lot. This is taking a lot of energy, growing this channel. So I'm hoping it's going to go in the right direction.
It's only worth it if you work for it. It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.